وسابقت الأحبة في تلاوته وأنعم حين ألقاهم بلقياه ولي شيخ إذا رتلت ألمحه تقبلني من الإعجاب عيناه.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We completed Surah Bani Israil yesterday and the major portion of Surah Al-Kahf, and just want to focus in on a couple of verses in Surah Bani Israil. Before doing that, the verses which precede the verses which I want to talk about, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits us from doing certain things. Firstly, killing our own children, and of course in those days, in the days of Jahiliyyah, people used to actually kill their children, especially their daughters. They used to bury them alive. But the same ruling applies to abortion which is done for no valid reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits it, and this is a prohibition. The other prohibition is that we should not get close to zinnah. Nothing which leads us to zinnah, we should get close to that. So anything that makes us close to zinnah or leads us to zinnah, that is something that is prohibited. And as a preventative measure, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, do not even go close to zina, because worst way to adopt. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits the murdering of anybody. We're not allowed to murder somebody. Killing somebody is not permissible, and only the killing of somebody will be allowed if the judge passes a judgment according to the Shari'i ruling, that if a person kills somebody and then to take revenge for that killing, it is permissible to kill that person back, but that has to be done under the court of law and where the law allows it to be done. And even in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you are taking revenge, then that revenge has to be swift. You cannot take the person and torture him and make him suffer for day upon day and then just kill him after that. Allah says, فَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا لِوَلِيهِ سُلْطَانًا فَلَا يُسْرِفْ فِي الْقَتْلِ. That israf should not be done in the killing of that person. It has to be done swiftly and without any kind of oppression upon that person. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about not touching the wealth of an orphan. And this is obviously not getting close to the wealth of an orphan. This is an exaggeration to show that how dangerous it can be for a person to go close to the wealth of an orphan who doesn't have people to look after his rights. His parents have passed away or his father has passed away, and because there's nobody to look after his rights and his wealth is just sitting there, you may want to take advantage of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says no. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا مَالَ الْيَتِيمِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. If you do touch it, it has to be with a good and valid reason to spend it upon the orphan or to invest it for those reasons, otherwise no. And then وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, complete your covenants, your trusts, your promises, fulfill them. إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. These promises, you'll be questioned about them on the day of judgment. And when doing trade, business, وَأَوْفُوا الْكَيْلَ إِذَا كِلْتُمْ وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. When you are weighing things, make sure you weigh in a fair way, so that you are not taking somebody else's right, somebody else's wealth without a reason. If somebody is paying you for a pound of apples, make sure you give a pound of apples, or even more, just to be sure that you are fulfilling the right of the person who's buying that thing from you. Do not lessen the thing that is being paid for. Make sure you give in equal measure or even more. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this is the best thing to do. Now the thing I want to focus on in detail is the next verse. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. Do not pursue that thing that you do not have knowledge about. The word قَفَى يَقْفُ, it means to follow in somebody's footsteps. When you see somebody's footsteps, you track that person and you go after that person, you pursue that person by following and seeing the person's footsteps. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that don't go after people, don't pursue people, and don't go in their footsteps with the intention of finding things out about them and then spreading them. This is what this verse is about. And there are other interpretations given by scholars. Shahadatul Zur, false testimony, and false accusations, things of that nature. But it's more related to things which are related to dhann. And the Prophet ﷺ said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنْ فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيثِ. Beware of dhann. Dhann means misgivings about people, suspicion, thinking about something, thinking something about a person that's not there. For example, you see a person who you see frequenting the masjid, and you see him at night going into a convenience store which happens to be also selling alcohol. So automatically you assume that he must be going in there to buy alcohol, not thinking about the 1,000 other things that could be available there and what he might have a need for. Maybe there's no other pharmacy in the area, so he needs to buy some medication which is found in that convenience store, or he's out of matches, there's no other place open to buy matches from, so he goes in there to buy matches. But the mind takes a person, the shaitan takes a person into thinking that he's going there to buy alcohol. And then that thinking takes a person to using his tongue and telling other people, I saw that person going to buy alcohol last night. Do you know that? He comes to the masjid, he thinks he's so holy and pious and everything, and he acts this way, and the reality is that he goes and buys alcohol and he drinks. So this thinking results in spreading the slander and basically bringing a person down. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not pursue something which you don't have knowledge about. If you don't have knowledge about something, do not pursue it. إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. Indeed, the hearing and the seeing and the heart, all of them will be questioned about. They will be questioned about this issue. So, hearing something and then twisting it or assuming that this was what was said. Okay, and this is again, we have so many fights sometimes between people where they think they heard something and the reality was that it was completely different, but it results in a fight. Basar, like the example that I've just given, seeing something and assuming something else. And fu'ad, heart, thinking something and the reality is something else. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, these things will be questioned about on the Day of Judgment. And the wording is actually used in a way to denote that the hearing, the seeing and the heart, they have a life of their own, and they all will be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment individually, as if they are living things. Actually, Shaykh Osama, he read some verses in the Quran which indicates the same thing. وَيَوْمَ يُحْشَرُ أَعْدَاءُ اللَّهِ إِلَى النَّارِ فَهُمْ يُوزَعُونَ حَتَّى إِذَا مَا جَاءُوهَا شَهِدَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَمْعُهُمْ وَأَبْصَارُهُمْ وَجُلُودُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. On the Day of Judgment, the mouth is going to be closed up. First, the testimony is going to be asked from the mouth will lie, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to close up the mouth. الْيَوْمَ نَخْتِمُ عَلَى أَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَتُكَلِّمُنَا أَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُمْ. The mouth is going to be closed up, the hands, the feet, the rest of the body is going to testify. And حَتَّى إِذَا مَا جَاءُهَا شَهِدَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَمْعُهُمْ. The hearing is going to testify. وَأَبْصَارُهُمْ. The seeing is going to testify. وَجُلُودُهُمْ. And the skin is going to testify. بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. وَقَالُوا لِجُلُودِهِمْ لِمَا شَهِدْتُمْ عَلَيْنَا. They're going to say, oh skin, why are you testifying against us? Why are you testifying against us? And the skin basically is going to respond, قَالُوا أَنْتَقَنَ اللَّهُ الَّذِي أَنْتَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Allah is giving us a tongue. That Allah who gives everything the ability to speak has given us a tongue today to speak. That's why we are testifying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to do that. So inna sam'a wal basara wal fu'ada, they all will be questioned. The hearing, the seeing, and the heart, they all will be questioned about what a person did. So we have to make sure, especially living within a community, to make sure that we don't fall into the trap of doing things which will result in misgivings and fights and disputes amongst people. And this is how those fights and arguments actually start, when we have misgivings about people. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا, do not walk on the earth with arrogance. إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. However strong you get, however powerful you get, you're not going to be able to rip up the earth, and you're not going to reach the height of mountains. Okay, this is never going to happen. So what are you? What is your significance? What am I? What is my significance in the comparison of the things and the powerful things that we see around us? We are nothing. We are nothing in comparison to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he said that how can a person be arrogant when his beginning is an impure drop of sperm and his end is a rotting corpse, and in the middle he walks around with filth in his body? How can a person be arrogant when this is the situation? So we have to understand that humbleness, humility is something that is taught to us by Islam. We should always lower ourselves and not be arrogant. Arrogance was the thing that took the shaitan out of and wasted his thousands of years of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had gotten close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by worshipping. He had got so close that he used to sit with the angels. He was a jinn, but he used to sit with the angels because of all the worship that he did. It was only one moment of arrogance where he said, Ana khayrun min, I am better than him. That resulted in him being cursed until the day of judgment. So we need to make sure that we don't fall into this trap. I want to focus on another verse towards the end of the surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقُرْآنًا فَرَقَنَاهُ لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا. This, Allah says, the Quran, we split it up. There are two qira'at in this word, فَرَقْنَاهُ and فَرَّقْنَاهُ. فَرَّقْنَاهُ means we split it up, meaning the Quran was revealed slowly. Over 23 years, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it on an as-needed basis. And فَرَقْنَاهُ, it means we clarified it. So this is a slight difference in wording, but the meaning changes. But the purpose is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ, addressing the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, so that, O Prophet, you read it to the people, ala mukth. Mukth, makatha yamkuthu means to wait, to be patient. So to recite the Quran slowly, steadily, and not rush it. Now, mostly in India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, the hafiz who reads the fastest is regarded as the best hafiz. So the people tend to go to the place where the Taraweeh is done in the shortest amount of time and the hafiz recites the quickest. And this is not really something to be proud of. This is not something that we should be proud of, that a person is reading so fast. We have to make sure, keeping this rule in mind, why was it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran over 23 years? So that the Quran would be recited slowly. People appreciate it, take it, whatever has been revealed, learn it, and internalize it, and focus on the verses which have been recited, and then basically put them into practice, and then learn more which are coming down. So this was the wisdom of the Quran being revealed over 23 years. وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes that we revealed it slowly. There's one word is inzal, anzala yunzilu. It means something that comes down quickly. And tanzil means something that comes down bit by bit, slowly, tadrijan. This is what tanzil means. Allah says, وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا. We revealed it with slowly, so that people could internalize and grasp what has been recited, and not so that people just take the whole thing at once and not appreciate what was given to them. So this is the lesson, this is one of the main lessons that we learn towards the end of Surah Bani Israil, about the recitation of the Quran, that it should be done slowly and surely, according to the etiquette that has been taught to us, with the correct tajweed, with the correct pronunciation, so that the meanings don't change, and the beauty of the Quran is maintained as it was revealed. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand and practice what is being said and heard.
طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات يدها وجب الشكر علينا مدى